What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. Now listen, guys, I fancy myself to be something of a truth teller. I mean, that's the truth as I see it. Of course, a lot of this is my opinion, and I reserve my right to tell my opinion. A lot of times it's a sound opinion. I sit back a lot of times. I don't race to be the first person to talk about anything. I like to go over it in my mind. I like to take a big aerial view of things, and then I speak on it as I see it. So, you guys know, who have been following this channel for a while, I do not shy away from talking about the COVID injections. And you know also that I'm not a big fan of them. I don't believe they've been around long enough for us to know the long-term effects of them. And as time goes by, I believe that they are indeed dangerous. I believe the risks far outweigh the benefits of taking these things. I truly do. Now, what has that gotten me in the last few years of talking about this? Well, it's gotten me laughed at. It's gotten me scoffed at. It's gotten certain videos of mine taken down where I've had to go on to other platforms to talk about these things. I've been called a liar, all types of names, and I've probably lost subs over that. And I've been okay with that because ultimately, for me, it's just about telling the truth. I care so much about you guys who are out there. I care about my fellow man and woman and child that I will not be silent when I see something that I believe could be potentially hurting us. Because ultimately, I believe that the voices of the patients are just as, if not more important than the voices of the doctors who are out here, and certainly the voices of the pharmaceutical executives. So I don't understand how somehow we've gotten it twisted where we believe that the only ones we can listen to are the doctors in the pharmaceutical industry that's making billions of dollars off of injecting us with an experimental gene therapy treatment that has not been tested long term in human beings. But this is where we are today. So it's very interesting that I came across this article a couple of days ago, and I want to share it with you guys because unfortunately this is where we're heading. And this video, as I said, is going to serve as something of a test because I want to prove to you guys what happens when you actually do try to tell the truth to those out there who are running out to get jabbed and who have gotten jabbed over the last couple of years, who may be right now starting to experience something of a form of buyer's remorse. And I've spoken to a lot of you out there who feel that way. A lot of people were forced to get jabbed in order to continue on in their jobs, in order to play sports, in order to go to school. And now they're starting to wonder, my God, what have I done? Letting the days go by. So let's talk about this article that I saw here, okay? Now, I'm going to read this thing, so you guys bear with me, because I think it's very, very important that you hear every word of this so you can understand exactly what has happened and the dynamics of it and why it's happened in the last few years. Now, this is on iqfy.com, and I've never heard of this particular website, but the article is interesting nonetheless. And it says here, they knew. Why didn't the unvaccinated do more to warn us? Now, of course, those of us who know are probably laughing at that very title, okay? But we're going to go on, guys. It gets better. The unvaccinated knew what we didn't. Some of them said too little. Most said nothing at all. A lot of blood is now on their hands. A lot of blood is on their hands. The unvaccinated. I swear to God, guys, you can't win if you're unvaccinated. If you're unvaccinated and people are getting sick, it's your fault. If you're unvaccinated and people are getting sick and you say nothing, it's your fault. You know, it's no matter what you do, you try to warn them, it's your fault for not getting vaccinated in the first place. You try to warn them and they got vaccinated and now they're regretting it. It's your fault because you didn't do enough to stop them. As the world struggles to come to terms with the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, one question that continues to surface is why the unvaccinated didn't do more to warn us about the potential dangers of being injected. Now, of course, the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, let's talk about that, because a lot of people always throw that back in your face. Well, we had to do something, people were dying. Keep in mind, guys, a lot of us told you from the very beginning that early treatment was the key to all of this. I've said it a million times in my past videos. All right, the reasons why those people died, the vast majority of them, is because they were denied early treatment. That's the reason why. And why were they denied early treatment? Because the big money pharmaceutical companies wanted to make money off the vaccine exclusively. They wanted to push it as the emergency usage, thing that it was. All right. It's an emergency and we have to use it even though it's untested. So And there's no other alternative, all right? So in order for there to be no other alternative, they had to discredit everything else, like hydroxychloroquine, like, what was it, the so-called horse paste, right? Ivermectin. Everybody was laughing at that. You had Jimmy Kimmel and all the other ones out there, Jimmy Fallon, the other fucking clown over there, Stephen Colbert, all of them made fun of it every night, and everybody was laughing as your fellow human beings were dying as they were denied treatment, struggling to breathe in the hospitals, in the ICUs, when their family couldn't see them because they weren't allowed to be up there. They knew they had treatment, but they denied it to people. You want to talk about whose blood is on whose hands? You talk about the doctors and the administrators who let that happen, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Going on. Remember, this is a test. Let's see how long this video or this channel stays up. I'll die on this hill. I don't give a damn. Well, while well-intending citizens lined up, did the right thing, and received their COVID-19 vaccinations, now seeming to do more harm than good, let's read that again. While well-intending citizens lined up and did the right thing and received their COVID-19 vaccinations, now seeming to do more harm than good, their unvaccinated friends stood by and let them do it. Some of them said too little, some said nothing at all, even though they knew what we didn't. What do you think? We just woke up and was like, oh my God, we're getting a revelation from on high that the vaccinations are not good for us. No, we did our research. Before you do anything with your body, you should be informed. That's the reason why they call it informed consent. And that's the reason why we've been denied information. They call it misinformation. Now it's coming out that it was the true information. And I did videos about that as well. While you talk about who is being silent, every step of the way, people telling me to shut up. Our blood is now on their hands, they say again. Those are strong words, but the unvaccinated had access to important information about the potential side effects of the vaccines. We had access to it? What, like we would just privy to classified information? No, we went out and found out about it. Like I said before, you have to do your research. You have to press your doctors for answers. When I talk about this on Twitter, I always put hashtag demand answers. I always put hashtag doctors do your jobs. I've been doing that now for a couple of years. But they talk about we just had access to important information about the potential side effects of vaccines. They knew about the risk of severe allergic reactions, blood clots, and other serious health complications. Oh, you know who else knew about these risks of severe allergic reactions, blood clots, and other serious health complications? Dr. Fauci knew about it. Brandon knew about it. Everybody who you saw on TV who was authorized by the government to speak to us about this knew about it. But you want to blame the actual patients, the actual people out here who said, wait a minute, before you put that needle in me, I'm going to need to read a little bit more. But you won't hold them accountable. The last thing that this article says is that the blood is on Fauci's hands. The blood is on Biden's hands. The blood is on the FDA and the CDC's hands. No, it's on your fellow people's hands. That's what you're talking about? Woo! They knew vaccines did not immunize us. They knew it wasn't effective, and they knew it could cause more harm than good. They knew all of that, but instead of warning us, the unvaccinated chose to remain silent. They chose to look the other way and not to speak out about the potential dangers of vaccines. They let millions of good folks who did the right thing at the time, they put in parentheses, fall to death and disease. And many anti-vaxxers even gloated online about how their coin flip had been the right bet. The more diabolical even urged folks they disagreed with to get boosted. Now that's something that a lot of people did out of frustration. I never did that. I never agreed with it. But once they get shouted down, once they get humiliated and called liars and all that stuff, a lot of people, all that's left to do is say, fuck it, do what you do. Good luck with that. You know what I mean? That's all that was. All right, going on. It has become all too clear the silence of the unvaccinated was a dangerous, sociopathic, and irresponsible decision that has had serious consequences for those of us who received the vaccinations. And silence, after all, is consent. Ain't this a bitch? It is time for the unvaccinated to take responsibility for their actions and to work with the rest of us to find a solution to this crisis. Now, that's only half right. I'm not taking responsibility for shit that you're not going to hold your government responsible for. But as far as to work with the rest of you to find a solution, well, I'm all for that. almost every member of my family got that goddamn jab, and I warned them, I begged them not to do it. I got laughed at, I got scoffed at. I told you that before, but it still breaks my heart. I'm worried about them every day. I'm stressed out about them every day as I see more and more of them begin to show signs of some type of harm, and they don't understand what's going on, and they're confused and they're scared, and I love them and I'm suffering with them. So if you think that I'm out here scoffing and laughing, this was my worst nightmare. This is what I did not want to happen. This is what we spoke about. This is what we were being loud about. You might not remember. Some people were out there demonstrating. I remember walking through Times Square with my brothers in the Dark Council last year, and there was a demonstration going on. Nobody was being quiet about this. You might remember I did a video talking about the reasons why I wouldn't wear my New York fitted hat anymore. I was so ashamed of New York with their mandates. I'm only wearing it for the purposes of giving you this point right now, as a matter of fact. But nobody went out quiet about this. So you want to talk about silence is consent? Dude, stop. Just stop. You know, sometimes I wonder if this whole thing is just trolling, but it seems to be serious. We cannot afford to let their selfishness and lack of action continue to harm our communities. It's time for the unvaccinated to step up and do the right thing. The unvaccinated should, by any moral measuring stick, have done more to warn about the potential risks to help us make informed decisions. What about your doctors? What the hell is this? Your doctor is supposed to be giving you informed consent, informed decisions. They're supposed to be giving you the information. There is a certain thing called doctor-patient privilege. That's what it is. All right. And everything that the government has been doing has been in violation of that, because they're not allowing individual doctors to do individual things. You have Fauci get on TV and say, questioning me is like questioning the science. Well, Dr. Fauci, have you ever heard of the scientific method? This is something that most of us learned in grade school. What is the scientific method? The scientific method is the method by which you come to a hypothesis about any given scientific situation, and it begins with a question. So when you say questioning the science is wrong, science is to be questioned. That's the way science progresses. It begins with a question. That's the scientific method. You learn that in Science 101 in grade school. But for some reason, you guys went for it. The rest of us were just like, wait, it doesn't make any sense. Common sense is what is needed in a situation like this, but you sacrifice that on the altar of compliance, on the altar of fear. And now you turn back and want to blame the people who do have common sense, who weren't afraid. Even though we're your only hope at this point, to work together. You're our only hope. We're your only hope. We have to work together to find our way out of this. So it goes on to say, okay, the unvaccinated should, by any moral measuring stick, have done more to warn about the potential risk, to help us make informed decisions about our health. And they must now ask us for our forgiveness. And hand to heart, we may just give it to them because we are good people. We took those injections because it was the right thing to do, until it wasn't. Guys, that is one of the most scariest, most delusional things I have ever read in my life. And I just wanted to pass it on to you because I believe this is what we're heading for. As I talk to more and more people out here, and I just don't talk online, guys. I talk to people. I listen, even more important than that. I just don't talk. As a matter of fact, I listen more than I talk. I believe in that. So I hear more and more people who are regretting taking that goddamn jab. All right. And as they're doing it, they are going to start to look at those of us who chose not to and wonder what it is that we knew. And why didn't we tell them, until they remember that we did. All right, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. All right, because once again, that is a warning. And this video is going to serve as a test. A demonstration. What you're going to do is get into the comment section and see how many people are going to tell me off, how many people are going to threaten to have this video taken down, how long this video actually might stay up. And you can also find this on Rumble. Okay, I'm going to put it up on YouTube because, like I said, I just want to see what the reception is going to be. And once it meets with whatever criticism it meets with, whether it gets taken down or not, it will continue to be up on Rumble. All right, guys. So anyway, there it is. You can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about this. Listen, guys, I love you. All right. And this is the reason why I make the statements that I make. I'm sorry I'm doing this at the end of the video because a lot of people won't make it to the end of a 15-minute video to hear this. But I love you. All right. I love all of you. All right. You're not just a super chat or a super thanks to me. And this is the reason why I talk the way that I do. There are some people who won't tell the truth because it affects their pocketbook. They know what's going to happen if they do. But I believe that God gives us a voice for a reason. And I believe that what I do here will be part of my legacy. So it's worth it to me to hear the curse outs, to get told off and everything. Because at the end of the day, my son says to me, Dad, I know you're telling the truth and I'm proud of you. So thank you guys for listening. And I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. God bless us all. Rock on.